Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. Now today Shimano has finally launched a 12-speed version of its popular GRX gravel bike group set, and here it is right in front of you. I've been riding it on its Lab 71 Topstone for the last few weeks. So in today's video, I'll tell you everything you need to know about it, all the key details, the likes and dislikes, the pricing, the weight, and of course we'll go for a ride and see how it performs and operates. But before we do that, let me give you an overview of what Shimano is today launching. Now we'll start with the news. There is no electronic Di2 option as part of this launch today. It's all about the mechanical offering. I have no idea when or if an electronic version of this 12-speed group set is coming. I expect it is, but they're probably planning a separate launch sometime later this year. So today it's all about mechanical, but that's no bad thing because I read all your comments and a lot of dislike for electronic group sets. So for Shimano to still be supporting mechanical at a reasonable price point and kind of level of specification and weight is a good thing to see. This new lineup comprises 3 12-speed mechanical offerings, and we'll start with the one I have here, the one I've been riding for the last few weeks. And the star of the show is probably grabbed your attention already, is this bad boy here, a brand new 1051 cassette. Massive, isn't it? Now I say new, it's not all that new because they have used a cassette on their mountain bike side for the last few years. So essentially, if we're being a bit cynical, they've just brought their mountain bike technology over to the drop bar world for the first time, but that's no bad thing. Don't reinvent the wheel if you have technology you can use already. This cassette does use Shimano's latest microspline free hub body to accommodate the small 10-2 sprocket, and most wheels can be easily upgraded to be compatible with the new group set. And the other key part of the new group set is this, a brand new rear mech, which does look very similar to one of their mountain bike rear mechs. I have a deal one at home which looks almost the same. And yes, I've lost the end cap of my cable there in case you spotted that. That fell off earlier today, so I need to put a new one on when I get home. So new rear mech, new cassette, and then all the other parts are essentially the same. The chain set and the brake levers and the brake calipers as well. And the weight for the group set as tested is 2.8 kilograms. There's also a smaller 1045 cassette option as well if you don't need all the range we have here, and that uses a rear mech with a medium cage, so a shorter cage than we have here. Now that does present a bit of a compatibility issue. If you buy a 1045 and the shorter cage rear mech, but you want to upgrade to the bigger cassette, would mean a new rear mech normally. But Shimano have thought about this. So the rear mech uses a removable cage down here. So if you buy the other group set, you can change just the cage and then accommodate the bigger cassette back here. So you don't have to buy a whole new rear mech. But it seemed a shame they couldn't design one rear mech to work with both a 1045 and a 1051. Is it really that tricky to do that? I guess it must be. And if you're not a fan of one by, as I know some people aren't, crazy as that sounds, there is a 2x option as well with a choice of 2 cassettes, and they use the old HG3 hubs and no microspline there, with a choice of 1136 or 1134 and just a 4831 chain set up front. So 3 group sets, 2 1x options, 1 2x option, and all mechanical, no electronic on the horizon yet. Now let's go for a ride and I'll share my thoughts and impressions of this new group set based on several weeks of riding. So not super long term, but fairly in-depth. And then on the other side of that ride section, we'll talk about price and how it compares to rivals in the gravel bike group set market. So here we are in the Forest of Dean. I've planned a nice 45k route with some good gravel climbs and off-road sections to put a bike and a group set through its paces. I've actually been riding a bike for the last few weeks on my local trails as well, so I've got to know it really well, got plenty of thoughts to share with you on a group set, but I'll give you an impression of how it is to use and the highs and lows. It's mostly highs, to be honest. It works really well. It's Shimano. The shifting is flawless, the brakes are fantastic, and that cassette is an absolute beast when you are riding proper off-road trails and dealing with quite steep climbs or a lack of fitness in my case. So let's dive in, go for a bit of a spin and see how it is. On a lovely sunny day, well, it has to be said, after all the rain we've had all year so far, the sun finally making an appearance. I can't believe it's taken Shimano so long to give us a proper dinner plate and one bike cassette. SRAM had definitely taken the lead in offering wide range gearing for gravel, adventure and bike packing. But the wait was sort of worth it. I mean, it works really well. The shifting is as you expect from Shimano, super light, and it works fine under pressure, under load as well, when you're really crunching through the gears, when you turn a corner and there's a sudden climb. Oh, I quite climb that. And the rear mech has no issues getting a chain all the way from a tiny 10-2 sprocket up to a massive 51. It works just fine. And the gear spread is really nice too. Aren't too many gaps to speak of, other than the ones in the last kind of 3 or 4 stages up to that 51. But when you're riding off-road on a gravel bike, on loose surface, the gears aren't an issue. There's no real issue of being in the wrong gearing, the wrong cadence, none of that stuff. Only at high speed, in a group, is cadence ever really an issue? And after riding almost exclusively electronic group sets for the last few years, it's so nice being back in mechanical because it works so well. No battery to worry about, the shifting is light, it's not as fast as electronic, and it's not as customizable and all the other features that electronic does, and it doesn't make the cool sounds, but it just works. There's no battery to charge up, but just get on the bike and ride. And where the group set is really appealing is in the price, mechanical versus SRAM's electronic offering. So let's dive into the price and how it compares to SRAM and Campag. The group set I've been riding retails in the UK for £1,350. That's actually the same price as SRAM's new Apex electronic group set, and more expensive than the mechanical version of new Apex. This is a 1x only group set though. There is no 2x option as you get with GRX. You could build GRX cheaper by using lower end Dior mountain bike part 2, so worth bearing that in mind. And Shimano group sets always get discounted eventually, and it's highly likely the price difference will come to almost nothing once manufacturers offer complete bikes, which is a more economical path to buying a bike with the latest group set. Let's not forget Campag here, which many people do. Its aircar group set hasn't been as popular as when it first launched, but it's currently on offer for just £900, which could make it an appealing choice. Price aside though, one key difference between the 3 group sets is in the shifting layout. SRAM and Campag aren't as intuitive, in my opinion, as Shimano, and this is where GRX really has the advantage. And to allow me to test this brand new group set, I built it up myself on this, a brand new Cannondale Topstone Lab 71 frame set with matching hologram carbon fibre wheels, Conti Terra Speed tyres and a 40mm width, the seat post it came with, and a new Cannondale branded saddle, which is basically an old fabric saddle with a nice scoop in the middle. And then I used a Prime aero flared drop handlebar and a Prime carbon stem. And it's been a really nice bike to ride the group set on. And I chose this build because I really like the way the Topstone rides. That nice blend of road and gravel bike geometry, right at home in country lane riding situations, and also gravel like we have here. Not the most progressive in terms of geometry when it comes to very technical sections, not as good as the BMC Urs or the 51 Assassin when riding very basically mountain bike trails essentially, but this is good everywhere else. And the Kingpin, although it does seem like a bit of a gimmick, does seem to give a bit more comfort in the saddle and definitely helps to minimise the impact coming through the back of the bike, and does allow me to run a narrower and therefore lighter and faster tyre, because I don't have to get more comfort from the tyre because the frame is doing a bit of the work for me. And the Lab 71 is lighter than the regular one by a few hundred grams thanks to a fancier carbon fibre grade. It's a bit like their S-Works or AMG if you want. And we have this amazing paint job at the back. I think they call it Blood Oxbow or something like that. But it's a shame, in my opinion, This amazing paint finish didn't extend to the entire frame. This matte carbon up here is a bit boring in my opinion, but this paint here is absolutely amazing, and I think the frame will look really spiffing with that entire paint job. So really fast, lightweight package, feels so good. So it's a new group set worth buying. Should you rush out and buy it today? Well, that depends, and depends on what you currently have on your bike and how happy you are with that gearing setup. If you currently have 11-speed GRX, especially one by, and you find you sometimes struggle on steep climbs or when you're going bike packing with extra weight, then I think this 1051 is definitely a good upgrade. I don't think the jump from 11 to 12 is so important. For me, it's that bigger range cassette, that 51, that really is the key to unlocking the full potential of bikes like this. And then of course, it's interesting from a price point aspect, because there aren't many wide range one by mechanical group sets on the market right now. SRAM are mostly electronic, although they have launched that more affordable Apex in one by, which I haven't tried yet in mechanical form, only electronic. And there's Campag Eckhart, of course, as well, which is a really nice group set, but doesn't seem to be as popular as it used to be. And the company probably needs to come out with both a high-end electronic version and a cheaper, more affordable option as well. Ditch some like carbon for aluminium to really go after the price-conscious consumer. So when you add in performance, gear range and price, this group set is very appealing, and there is the option to go for 600 series cranks and brake levers to bring the price down a bit as well. So definitely an interesting addition. It's taken Shimano long enough. The wait has been agonizing for some of us, waiting for a one by dinner plate option from Shimano, but here it is finally, and it works as you expect. So if you're buying a new bike, a new gravel bike this year, and you want the best gear range, but you want mechanical and not electronic, then I think this new GRX is definitely worth a punt. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Got any more questions, put them down below in the comment section. And of course, don't forget to like this video and subscribe by hitting that button down there. Your support means I can do more videos like this on a regular basis. And if you want to see a video on that new SRAM Apex, which is a lower price electronic offering, then do watch the video right up here. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again very soon.